Words of our Divine Mother from the book The Mother, Question and Answers of 1950-51, Volume 4, page 357, date 26th April 1951. Sri Aurobindo has written, "Reject too the false and indolent expectation that the divine power will do even the surrender for you. The Supreme demands your surrender to her, but does not impose it. You are free at every moment till the irrevocable transformation comes. To deny and to reject the divine, or to recall your self-giving, if you are willing to suffer the spiritual consequence." Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo in the book The Mother, page 4. For this one, sadhak is asking a question. Sweet Mother, what does an irrevocable transformation mean? For this, our Divine Mother says that transformation is irrevocable when your consciousness is transformed in such a way that you can no longer go back to your old condition. There is a moment when the change is so complete that it is impossible to become once again what one was before. And then the sadhak says, Sweet Mother, doesn't transformation itself imply that it is irrevocable? For that our Divine Mother says, the transformation may be partial. The transformation Sri Aurobindo speaks about here is a reversal of consciousness. Instead of being egoistical and turns towards personal satisfactions, the consciousness is turned towards the divine in surrender. And as he has explained clearly that the surrender could be partial at first, there are parts which surrender and parts which don't. So it is only when the entire being integrally in all its moments has made its surrender that is irrevocable. It is an irrevocable transformation of attitude. Then the sadhak says, Sweet Mother, what is the difference between divine Shakti and the divine power? For this, our Divine Mother says, the divine power is only a part of the divine Shakti. The divine power is an attribute of the divine Shakti. Sri Aurobindo uses the word divine Shakti here in the sense of Chit Tapas, the creative power, the creative consciousness. Consequently, the divine power is only a part of the Shakti. Now, the paragraph from the book The Mother. An inert passivity is constantly confused with the real surrender, but out of an inert passivity, nothing true and powerful can come. It is the inert passivity of the physical nature that leaves it at the mercy of every obscure or undivine influence. A glad and strong and helpful submission is demanded to the working of the divine force. Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book The Mother, page 4 and 5. For this, the sadhak is questioning the mother, Sweet Mother, what is a glad and strong and helpful submission? For this, our Divine Mother says, do you know what means to be happy? Do you know what it means to be strong? Do you know what it means to be helpful? Well, the surrender, that is, the self-giving to the divine, must be happy, joyful, made gladly. It must be a strong. One must not give oneself through weakness and impotence, but with an active and strong will. And then the surrender must not remain absolutely indolent. I have made my surrender. I have nothing more to do in life. I have only to remain still. My surrender is made, and it must be helpful, it must be active. It must undertake the transformation of the being or do some useful work. Now, the words of Sri Aurobindo, your surrender must be the surrender of the living being, not of an inert automation or a mechanical tool. For this, our Divine Mother says, you may speak, for instance, of the surrender of your watch. You wind it up and it runs. But this is not a response of conscious collaboration. And then the words of our Lord, the transformation must be integral, and integral, therefore, the rejection of all that withstands it. For this, our Divine Mother gives the explanation. That is well understood. It is not enough to have a positive moment. There must also be the negative moment of rejection. For you cannot attain a stable transformation as long as you harbor in your being elements which oppose it. If you keep obscurities within you, they may for a time remain silent and immobile so well that you attach no importance to them, and one day they will wake up again and your transformation won't be able to resist them. Not only is the positive moment of self giving necessary, but also the negative moment of rejection of everything in you that opposes this giving. You must not leave things like that, buried somewhere in such a way that at the first opportunity they wake up and undo all your work. There are parts of the being which knows very well how to do this. There are elements of the vital which are extraordinary from this point of view. They keep quiet, hide in a corner, remain so absolutely silent and motionless that you think they don't exist. So you are no longer on your guard. You are satisfied with your transformation and your surrender, and you think everything is going well. And then suddenly, one fine day, without warning, the thing jumps up like a jack in the box and makes you commit all the stupidities in the world. And it is the stronger for having remained repressed and closed tight in a corner. It has remained as though buried, so as not to draw any attention. It has kept very, very quiet the moment you are not expecting it. It springs up, and you tell yourself, oh, what was the good of all my transformation? That thing was there, and so it happened. It is just like that. These things remain there and hide themselves so well that if you do not go looking for them with a well lit lantern, you will not know they are there till the day they come out and demolish all your work in 1 minute. And then the sadhak questions, sweet mother, does this happen even if one has a great aspiration? For that, a Divine Mother says, the aspiration must be very vigilant. I have known people, many, not only a few, I mean among those who do this integral yoga, I have known many who every time they have a fine aspiration and their aspiration was very strong, they received an answer to this aspiration. Every time, the very same day or at the latest the next day, they had a complete setback of consciousness and they were facing the exact opposite of their aspiration. Such things happen almost constantly. Well, these people have developed only the positive side. They make a kind of discipline of aspiration. They ask for help. They try to come into contact with the higher forces. They succeed in this. They have experiences, but they have completely neglected cleaning their room. It has remained as dirty as ever. And so, naturally, when the experience has gone, this dirt becomes still more repulsive than before. One must never neglect or to clean one's room. It is very important. Inner cleanliness is at least as important as outer cleanliness. Swami Vivekananda has written, I don't know the original, I have only read it in the French translation, says our mother. One must every morning clean one's soul and one's body. If you don't have time for both, it is better to clean the soul than clean the body. These are the divine words of our Divine Mother.